That was a good start to the video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video because today I'm going to be sharing with you my Christmas book haul, so all of the books that I received for Christmas. Some of them were books that were bought for me, but most of them are books that I bought with book vouchers. I always get lots of book vouchers for Christmas, so one of my favourite things after Christmas is to go to Waterstones and just go on a book buying spree, which I never do. I only ever really buy books like one at a time or maybe two at a time, and generally will buy books secondhand or on ebook now. So it's always such an amazing thing to go into a bookshop and know I could buy like 10 books. And that's what I did this year, and I want to share all of those books that I picked up. First books I'm going to share with you are the books that I was given. So I was bought 2 books for Christmas. The first one is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde in the Penguin cloth-bound edition. I'm going to put my tea down because I feel like I'm definitely going to spill it all over my books. So this is in the Penguin cloth-bound edition, and this was given to me by my parents because they know I'm trying to slowly accumulate these editions of classics. I just have a dream of having a whole row of my shelves in these editions because I think they're so beautiful. I haven't read The Picture of Dorian Gray before, so I'm really excited to read this one. I think it's quite a short classic and it's definitely a well-loved one. It's about a man who has a portrait done of himself, and the portrait grows older but he doesn't, and I think it kind of acquires all of the kind of awful stuff that he does onto the portrait. So yeah, it's a classic and I'm really excited to read it. The next book that I got was from my friend, and she bought me Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a cozy fantasy book about an orc who abandons her life of killing and plundering and decides to open up a coffee shop. I've already read this one and it is so cozy. It's very heartwarming and I really enjoyed it. So all of these next books are ones that I bought for myself with book vouchers. So actually I'll start with the hardbacks first, because if you are in the UK, you will know that Waterstones do a half price hardback sale, usually around Boxing Day or the day after Boxing Day. And of course, I had to get a couple of books. So the first one that I got was A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, which is the sequel to A River Enchanted, which I read and absolutely loved last year. It was one of my favourite books of the year. A River Enchanted is about a grumpy bard who is summoned home from his university where he teaches music to go back home to his kind of Scottish inspired island where his clan need his help to find these missing girls. And it's just so cozy and magical, but also deep and lyrical and romantic, and it kind of has everything that I want in a fantasy book. And so it ended in a really good and satisfying way, and I'm really excited to carry on with that. I think this is the end of the series as well. I think it's just 2 books, hopefully. So yeah, I'm really excited to read that one. And then the other hardback book I got in the half price sale was The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, which is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is the spin-off to the Caraval series. I actually don't remember what happened very well in Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I feel like I'm going to need to refresh myself, but I just remember really enjoying it and devouring it in like a day. So I think this will be the same. It will be like a weekend read when I've got nothing else to do but read. And yeah, also this copy is actually signed, which, you know, I thought was pretty cool. It also has this like gold foil on the inside. So yeah, it's very pretty and I'm very excited to read on with this series. If you've watched any of my videos, you will know that my favourite author at the moment is Kazuo Ishiguro, and I've read all of his novels, but I haven't read any of his short stories. So the next book that I got was Nocturnes, which is his collection of short stories. So the little tagline under the title is 5 stories of music and nightfall. So this sounds like it will be a brilliant read if it's anything like Ishiguro's other works. Ishiguro explores themes of memory and identity really well, and so I feel like the short story form is going to be really good for his writing. So yeah, I'm really excited to read some more of his works. I'm glad that it's not completely over yet, but I'm also sad to read this book because then it will mean I literally have nothing else from Ishiguro to read. So let's all hope and pray that he writes another book very soon. The next 2 books that I got are, I'll put them in order, Cold Clay and Mirror Lake by Janu Black. First of all, I am so in love with these covers. They printed them in such a way that all 3 of the covers, when you put them side by side, all form like a picture, and I just really love it. It's so clever. So these are the 2nd and 3rd book in the Shady Hollow series. Shady Hollow is a cozy murder mystery set in a woodland community of animals, but these animals kind of talk and act like human beings. And the stories, I guess, follow the main character still, who was Vera. Yes, Vera, who is a reporter kind of reporting on the murder of a toad that happens in the 1st book. And so I'm guessing these are just more murders and mysteries that happen in the town of Shady Hollow. These are great kind of small town, autumnal, cozy, one-sitting reads. I've heard these compared to Wind in the Willows, which I haven't read, but it's supposed to be like a Windy Willows crossed with Agatha Christie, and I just think that's a great blend. If you haven't already picked up Shady Hollow but you like a kind of cozy, easy, short read, then I would definitely recommend that one. But yeah, I'm really excited to read the next 2 books in that world. I also picked up Sweet Bean Paste by Dorian Sukigawa. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I've wanted to read this one for a little while. I've seen this one floating around on other people's videos and it's always really intrigued me. I think it would be a very nice springtime read, going by the cover of the cherry blossom trees anyway. So this book follows a man who has a criminal record and has done some bad things in his life, but he wants to try and start anew. I think he works in a bakery and it's about the other people who work there, particularly an older lady and the friendship that they form. It just sounds like a very moving and heartwarming kind of story for when I really need one like that. So I'm very excited to read this one, probably in the springtime. And then also along the line of translated fiction, I have Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. And this is a very well-known book. I feel like everyone knows about this book and it's one I've wanted to pick up for a little while. And it's basically a series of 4 short stories about this cafe where you can go and time travel. So there's all these rules about how you time travel in this cafe, but basically you can go back in time to visit a person who has visited that cafe, but you have to come back to the real world before your coffee gets cold. So you only have the length of time of a hot cup of coffee to go and visit the past. And so it's about 4 different people and why they decide to time travel back to the past and the lessons they kind of learn from it. So I've actually already read this one. This is the first book I read in 2023 and I have a few mixed feelings on it, but overall I think it's a very moving kind of story. 2 of the short stories in particular were really moving and really kind of stuck in my mind after I read them. But yes, I'm glad that I finally read this one. It's kind of been everywhere and I'm surprised it took me this long to actually read it. And the final book that I picked up was 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. Last week I shared a reading vlog where I read this book, and spoiler alert, I really loved it. I think if you are a book lover, you will love this book. If you're a lover of bookshops, you will love this book. This particular copy is actually a bind up of 84 Charing Cross Road and the Duchess of Bloomsbury Street. 84 Charing Cross Road is a collection of letters from an American woman, Helene Hanff, and a British man who works in a bookshop. And she is writing him letters because she wants to acquire these particular copies of books, but she can't seem to find them in America where she is. And so she writes to this bookshop asking if they will try and locate these books for her. And one man in particular responds to her letters, and they kind of have a back and forth letter writing relationship for about 20 years that's documented in this book. And it's really witty and funny and charming and yeah, really heartwarming to read. And then The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street is Helene Hanff's memoir from when she goes to visit London in the 70s, and that's really wonderful to read. I think if you read 84 Charing Cross Road, you should definitely have a copy of The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street on you, because once 84 Charing Cross Road is over, you definitely want to read on and find out what happened to people afterwards. So yes, I've already read this one, of course, and absolutely loved it. So those are all of the books that I've acquired over Christmas this year. This year? It's not this year, it's last year. I keep saying earlier this year to reference like November. How long should it take to actually remember that you're in a new year? I also signed into the office at work as 2022 a couple of days ago. So I'm just not in the brain space yet for a new year. I feel like I still need to catch up, but anyway, those are all the books that I've acquired, and I am so excited for this new year and for all of the reading that I'm sure will ensue. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in a new video.